So now, for more reaction, it's a pleasure to welcome Anita Friedman, chairperson of the World Women's International Zionist Organization, joining us from Tel Aviv. Good to see you, Anita. So the silence was deafening. After 8 weeks, this condemnation from the UN women's groups, your reaction?
Too little, too late. What can I tell you, Benita? First of all, thank you for having me here. It's appalling to think that these organizations that were created for this exact purpose, to make sure that we don't silence women in these instances, has been silent for 8 weeks. It took a lot of international pressure, including the women that were standing in front of the UN with these garments. You just showed the picture, for them to react. It's a little too late. Even though today the Times in UK had a spread which really went deep into what happened here. So I'm glad at least that the world, even after 8 weeks, is reacting. So I'm thankful for that at least.
UN women's groups calling for this return to a path of peace, a respect for international humanitarian and international human rights law. But as you say, the evidence has been there from the start. This footage has been available for all to see, tragically, since day one. What do you think the reasons are that it's taken so long for this outcry from women's groups? It was due to so much pressure on the international arena. Why did it take so long?
I have no good explanation for that, other than it's Israel and it's just anti-Semitism in one of its forms, because otherwise I can really not explain that. There was so much testimonials and movies and raw footage coming out from here that it was impossible to deny. And the fact that they did not have a statement or an outcry after they saw this, because it was available to all of them. It took hundreds of letters of calls from the different women's organizations here in Israel, not only Wizo. We have a coalition where all the women's organizations that work day to day with these international organizations in making sure that women's sexual rapes in times of war and in times of peace are listened to and are believed. That for us, we felt very alone. We felt extremely I don't even have the words to explain to you how alone we felt when the silence was for 8 weeks.
And to think that when women in 2023 can't come to the support of other women in a situation like this, it just boggles the mind. Sarah Hendricks is the deputy director at the UN Women's Groups, and she told CNN that they unequivocally condemn all forms of violence against women and girls, but somehow didn't call out Hamas specifically. Again, you see the images. We are hearing the testimony of people in captivity, women and girls, women separated from their daughters. We're hearing the abuse, and yet other women can't condemn it. It really boggles the mind. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and they put the word but, which is unacceptable. The first raison d'etre of these organizations are, we believe you, we're with you, you're not alone. And in this instance, it was not like that.
And again, we're hearing these testimonies. We know in one case in captivity, one of a set of twins was taken away from their mother for 10 days. This is just unimaginable. And still, women and children are being held in Gaza right now. It's been more than 8 weeks. The whole nation waiting to hear what has happened to the Bibas family, a mother whose plight is really at the heart of the entire nation. Shiri Bibas and her 2 beautiful young boys with their beautiful red hair. The whole nation waiting for word, your message right now, in terms of letting out mothers and children, your thoughts on that being prioritized.
You know, this is what we have been asked to do all the time, to make sure that women and children are first. I am not going to get into the decision-making process of the Israeli government. I hope that their interest lies with these hostages, all of them, not only women and children. All of them have to return home somehow.
It certainly is something that the whole nation is hoping can happen as this ground operation unfolds as we speak. Anita, when it comes to resources for women, how is your organization helping right now? Thousands of people attacked on the 7th of October in their homes and at that music festival. What kinds of initiatives are you involved in at this moment?
Wizo we are a very old organization. We're 103 years old. The main thing that we're focusing right now is also bringing out the plight of abused women that are trapped in their house. You know, during times of war, as we saw in the corona, violence in the family goes up. So we have 3 different hotlines, not only for women under the plight of violence, but also for men in the cycle of violence, and also for parents with children that need our help. We are out there on the ground. We have 40 different Wizo centers giving services to all the citizens of Israel that needs right now, whatever their needs may be. But Benita, this is a country under PTSD. The whole country is in a trauma. And we are going to need a lot of resources to make sure that we give psychological therapy to everybody and anybody that needs it. Of course, to the people that are in our projects, the children that come to us, the parents, the women, but in general to the whole of the Israeli population.
Thank you so much, Anita Friedman. We so appreciate you being with us, the chairperson of the World Women's International Zionist Organization, live from Tel Aviv. Thank you so much for speaking to us on this breaking news edition.
Thank you, Benita.